Hello, welcome to another episode of Montana Shares, your opportunity to find out about the nonprofits that make our state great. I'm your host, Bill Crane, and today I have Doug Haberman, the bicycle bandito representing Bike Walk Montana, Bike Walk Helena, in the time of COVID. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Bill. I just put that on partly just to date this session and show that you should be safe right now. That's the most important thing for everybody. We all know it. We've been hearing it. And just know also that we'll get through this thing and move forward. So I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, kind of working between home and occasionally popping into the office when necessary, and it's working out, getting the job done.
Yeah.
So what's new with Bike Walk? We'll go plural. What's new with Bike Walks?
Yeah. And as it said there, I represent both Bike Walk Montana and Bike Walk Helena, which is our local group here that moves forward. What we do across the state and in Helena is promote active transportation. That's encouraging people to bicycle, to walk, to roll, any way they can move around without a vehicle. And also to encourage government to work with us and other individuals, nonprofits, organizations, agencies to create infrastructure so people can do that. We mean not just bike lanes and trails, but sidewalks, continuous sidewalks. And especially this time of year when we have snow one day and then beautiful sun later in the afternoon, it's really important people keep their sidewalks clear. For those people walking or particularly rolling along on a wheelchair or using some sort of other aid to move around, those clear sidewalks are really important. And for across the country, and certainly in Montana, the statistics show only about 30% of Montanans don't have a driver's license. They're young, they're kids, they're older, so that's about 300,000 of us that need to get around that way, whether they're walking to school, going to get groceries, going to visit a friend, or just getting some exercise right now, which is, we all know, really important to get out there and get some exercise appropriately, again, with your social distancing in place.
Yeah, I think, well, with being indoors a lot more, I think it's super important to be outdoors. And it is totally confusing to be getting more snow in spring than I think we did in the last few months of winter. So definitely confusing, but definitely a beneficial activity.
Yeah. So a lot of our activities revolve around programs or events, meetings, those sort of things. And so just like everyone else, we're both kind of waiting and seeing what happens in terms of how the virus plays out, but also trying to be proactive and saying, what we do is still important. It's important that people are active. It's important that people help support us and other organizations like us across the state, and there's many. And so what we're doing, we're kind of retooling. We work in a number of different areas, and I'll kind of hit on those a little bit. We do work with government, with legislation, and we're involved with what there's called an interim committee. In between the sessions, they have groups, and there's an interim transportation committee, and they're taking a look at particularly how to fund maintenance of a shared use paths. There's about 180 miles, believe it or not, of shared use path. These are the ones that are typically on the side of the road or off the road. And these are for bicyclists and walkers, and these are within the Montana Department of Transportation right away. So quite a bit. In Helena, people may know the one that runs from here out to East Helena, and eventually is going to connect to the Centennial Trail, which I'll mention in just a minute. Those are, how do we take care of those? How can we get more of those? And so we're working, right now all committee meetings are suspended. Who knows about the session? That's still quite a ways away, and the election. So that's one thing. That's a small part, though. What we do is a lot of teaching. We have a really great online website resource under bikewalkmontana.org. And if you go there, you can find out about a lot of our programs. There's online resources. But typically we do things like bike rodeos, where we teach kids how to be safe out riding. We're teaching the parents at the same time. We hope they're both listening, because there's a lot of old things like, you should ride against traffic, and that's really something you don't want to do. A bicycle is a vehicle. you have all the responsibilities as a vehicle and the the rights and responsibilities as a vehicle. You have the right to the lane if you need to it, all those sort of things that we don't need to go into right now. So education programs, and there were a number of events planned across the state, and we all know those are all kind of in limbo right now. We had our big, every 2 years we do a big bike walk summit, and we had that all planned for Great Falls at the end of April, and we're postponing it now to the fall. And we hope we'll still get the great speakers and participation we are looking forward to. In Helena, probably the next event will be Roll and Stroll. That's typically held downtown. I think this will be the 6th one. I believe, I don't have the date on the tip of my tongue, but it was at the end of, either end of April or end of May. It's on a Saturday. It coincides with the first farmer's market, and we know that's also up in the air right now. So what people should do in the Helena area is watch for information about these sort of things. They can go to our website. We also send it out to a lot of people. We have an email list that people can get on if they're interested in these kind of things across the state. We appreciate them coming to our website and signing up for our email list, and we're glad to keep you on our email list, which we have several thousand people on at this point. So that's the closest one. We were planning some events with the YMCA, and those are kind of on hold, as well as using their Camp Child, which is just across the Continental Divide over near Elliston. And we were hoping to do some bike walk weekends there, mountain biking primarily, some classes. And we still hope to pull off a number of those. And so again, if you want to learn about that sort of thing, look at our website. We'll have it on there. And we're always working with partners. Like I said, YMCA. We have last fall we had a great harvest garden ride with the community garden folks from here in Helena. We hope to have that. That was really fun. We had about 70 people show up for that. Those are the sort of things we're working on right now.
Okay. So what's going on in Helena?
Well, again, those events, those are here. And there's also some great events not too far away. Lincoln's got a great trail day. We hope that happens. That's in late July. But right here in our community, one of the top things we're working on, and now we're going to spend a little more time on it because I don't have to worry about planning a big statewide meeting and that sort of stuff. So, and that is the Centennial Trail. And I think a lot of people are using it. A lot of people are using it right now because it's a great trail. It stretches through Helena. The idea is someday it will reach all the way from basically the Continental Divide to East Helena and maybe even beyond to our communities like Townsend and Boulder. But we're working on a bridge across Henderson, which if you've ever gone on the Centennial Trail, it's a really nice trail, and all of a sudden there's a drop off. You have to cross Henderson. It's gravel. And the city is very close to signing a right-of-way agreement with Montana Rail Link. It takes quite a while for them to approve it. And once that's done, we'll start a public process to plan that bridge, to design it, and to raise some funding for it. It probably costs somewhere around between $200,000 and $300,000. That seems like a lot of money, but when you think of the benefits for health benefits, the benefits that you have a trail system, a backbone of a trail system that you can connect other trails to. And just a month ago, it seems like a long time ago, there was a group of us from the city and county, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and Kessler School that were looking at how to get kids across Euclid there, Highway 12, as it heads towards Missoula there, right, by Kessler School and Montana Wild. And if you think about it, that connects right into the Centennial Trail. Right. So when we're talking Centennial Trail, it's just a backbone of a lot of other connected trails, but that connects a lot of residential area, low income as well as others, schools, places where people work. And if we can get this Henderson crossing, it will be great. And I'm very confident we're gonna move that forward. We'll also be looking at the other gap on Centennial Trail, which is around our favorite intersection in Helena, the Malfunction Junction, Montana, and right around Pacific Recycling, the railroad there. We're going to try and work with the businesses, the landowners, and the city to figure out a route through there, pending whatever they're going to do with that intersection, which is probably 5 to 10 years out at the earliest in terms of really fixing that as a safe place for people to motor through as well as walk and bike, which we're concerned with. But we're going to start the process. Those of you that use trails a lot, like yourself, Bill, and your lovely wife, Jody, There's some couple paved sections. One ends just on the other side of the interstate. And we want to bring that all the way through the 6th Ward, where hopefully the railroad and other businesses will cooperate with us, find a way through there, and so we can connect it. So you'll be able to get on your bike and ride all the way out to Fort Harrison like you can right now, or ride all the way out to East Helena and our friends that live out in East Helena, and then to connect to other trails. And we're really happy to work with our partners, Prickly Pear Land Trust primarily, but obviously the city of Helena as well, and Lewis and Clark
Rail
County.
Link. Yeah.
Rail Link and Montana Department of Transportation. Everybody is trying to get people around safely. Our point is, it doesn't cost that much more. It seems like more, but it's really not percentage-wise to provide for bicyclists and walkers in our transportation system. And while driver fatalities and serious accidents are going down, those for bicyclists and walkers are going up. In Montana, believe it or not, is actually 3rd in the country for the percentage of commuters. Which seems crazy. We're just behind Oregon and District of Columbia in terms of number of folks that use bikes and walk to get back and forth from work or the grocery store or school. So we have a very mobile population, active like that. What we find with kids, one program we hope will continue on, again, depends on, it's called a walking school bus, and that's really fun. Instead of paying a company to provide a bus and driving the kids, you get parents or a paid person, because a paid bus driver, you have to pay them, why not pay a person, and they walk the kids to school. And the cool thing about that is it's not just exercise and getting some air, but studies have shown that when kids have some exercise in the morning, they get their socialization out a little, rather than jostling each other on the bus, like you and I did. They're walking, they're talking, they're having a good time, and they're getting to school safely. They get to school, they're ready to learn, and we hope the school district will endorse that. They have programs for that in Billings. There's several schools in Helena doing it, Missoula, up in the Kalispell area. And again, on a statewide basis, we try to promote that, but I'm really hopeful and confident that here in Helena, there's a lot of good people that want to do that sort of thing.
Great. So is there anything you want to wrap up with, sort of sum it all up here?
Just continue to be safe, get outside, respect the social distancing. Everyone, use something to cover your mouth. Does that help or not? Don't worry about it right now. Just get a bandana, a mask, and sign, just reduce your contact. I guess we probably should be further apart, Bill, but I kind of trust you. I know you're very careful. But everyone be safe out there, and keep riding and biking. And if you have any questions, contact us at Bike Walk Montana. We'll be glad to help you out.
Super. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Bill.
And as always, thank you guys for tuning in. And stay healthy, stay safe in this troubled times. We'll catch you later.